What is going on, everybody's? Welcome back to another episode of Two Dudes of Sports News. This is episode 109. As always, my name is Garrett. Here, my co-host.
What to do? This is Jalen Prince, and we got a very special guest that my co-host is going to introduce.
This is somebody I've been going back and forth with on Twitter. This is Toriono. I am saying that right, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. So this is Toriono. Follow him on Twitter. He's one of my better friends in the Jaguars sort of media circles. Introduce yourself to the people, man.
Yeah, my name is Toriono. I cover the Jaguars for ESPN 690 AM as well as for Football Analysis. I am a writer as well as a online personality and radio personality. I've been covering the Jaguars for the past maybe 8 months. I just graduated college this past year, so I'm fresh to the media world, but I'm excited to really get into it and create content for YouTube as well as on air.
Let me ask you this: where did your passion start? As far as like
my passion started from an early age. So growing up, I was a huge Jaguars fan. My dad was a big time Jaguars fan. He had my dad was a recording artist, so he worked alongside Fred Taylor as well as David Garrard. He had a couple contracts with them. He actually had some legal issues with Fred Taylor in the past due to him not really honoring his part of the deal. But that was kind of where my passion for the game started, with him kind of really ushering me into being a fan of the Jaguars.
Hey, that's awesome, man. What about a passion for getting into media and everything?
I just love talking ball. I mean, when I was maybe about 16, 15 years old, my goal was to be an NBA general manager. I would say now I more so want to be an NFL general manager.
I got you.
That's probably my long-term goal. Seeing Gladstone do it at 34 years old, me being 23, kind of tells me that I can do it. But that was more so my goal coming out of high school. And I just have a passion for the numbers, the analytics, being able to have a conversation about it and see how passionate other people are, and just really retaining knowledge and talking ball. I love football and basketball. So,
well, let's try to get on that, man. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, but we do have a segment called like "If I Were a GM," so we'll probably bring that out at least one quick time. Yeah. But Garrett, let's go ahead and get into it, because there's a lot of stuff we got to get into.
Yeah, let's get right into it. So for starters, those are socials down there. Just to start out, we're at TSDN Pod on Twitter if you're coming to us live for the first time. At TSDN Pod on TikTok. We're on YouTube. This is live on YouTube if you're listening back to this later. Follow us on Twitter. You'll see when we're going to stream live. And you can jump in the comments there, see if we got somebody in right now. But jump in the comments, chime in, see what you think, and let's have some fun with this, man. Like you said, this is a conversation. I mean, this whole podcast was a thing that Jalen and I got yelled at for doing, not the podcast part, but talking ball outside of one of our classrooms at Southern. We would get there hours early and just debate sports all the time, and that's kind of where this started. But we're going to get right into a couple things, so hit the socials down there on the bottom, but let's get right into it. So we're going to talk a few things. We're going to talk Stephon Diggs' contract. Thank God he's not coming to the Jags. We're going to talk pro day winners and losers. We're going to talk some March Madness so far, and we're going to end with one of the more interesting media cycles I didn't expect to see. So let's get right into Stephon's contract. Stephon Diggs' new contract, he signed recently with the New England Patriots, a 4-year, $69 million contract with $25 million guaranteed. So money-wise, if you're looking just at the guaranteed money, I'm not mad at it. I'm more happy that, like I said, he's not on our team, because it's clear to me that the dude looks more like a locker room cancer than anything. And the last thing we need when we're rebuilding, when you're trying to build a new regime and set a new mindset, having somebody there who is just causing problems isn't really something I feel like we need. I mean, Jalen, what do you think? Do you think it was an overpay? Do you think it was an underpay? Do you think it's a good contract?
Well, let's see. Right now, what's the receiving room looking like right now? Prior to Stephon Diggs in the Patriots locker room, I think is Kayshon Boutte, Douglas. I think, is Kendrick Bourne still there?
A traffic cone, a tackling dummy, and a cardboard cutout. That's who the
some really good time. And Hunter Henry. They needed a true number one. And dog, like a lot of people do forget this. What was Josh Allen prior to Stephon Diggs? Now, obviously, Diggs is not the same receiver that he was during that time, like Josh Allen pre-Buffalo. However, he does work well with young quarterbacks. You could call him a locker room cancer all you want. Some of that's true. Some of that I would think is a bit of a reach. But again, that's just my opinion. I've always been fond of Stephon Diggs, and I've always thought he was a really good talent, tremendous hands, really good route runner, makes a lot of plays. Does he reach or get desperate too much when he doesn't get to the ball? When he doesn't get the ball, yes, that's a lot of receivers, but maybe he should start reading. But then again, that's just me. I think the Patriots needed a veteran, talented wide receiver. He has some injury issues, but they needed somebody for Drake May, and you're gonna get that. But because I think the report said he should be back by, I think, training camp, definitely by week 1.
They're saying he'll be back by week 1 for sure.
Okay.
And I don't see. Here's my. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jalen. Go ahead.
Okay. All I'm saying is, I think it was a good move by the Patriots. They needed to add a wide receiver to that wide receiver room, and hopefully it'll be able to pan out, and Drake May can be able to take that next step and be the quarterback that Patriots fans really hope that he's going to be.
Toriono, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think they needed a pro in that room. Not saying that they didn't have any professionals. They just didn't have any veterans in that room outside of Kendrick Bourne last year. You look at, the ages of these guys. Douglas Pop, Jacksonville native. He was a second, third year player. Bunch of guys still on rookie contracts. Javon Baker did not pan out year 1 how people thought he would. Jalen Polk did not pan out year 1 how people thought he would. His teammate in Tampa Bay, Jalen McMillan, was outperforming him. I mean, they just had a lot of guys that were just guys. So bringing in somebody that can show them how to be a pro, show them how to come back to the ball and be a quarterback-friendly receiver, which Stephon Diggs is. If you were to label him anything as a receiver, he's a quarterback-friendly receiver that still can be a diva. He can be a diva in the locker room. He's going to want the ball, but when you have a guy that's a safety blanket, he's going to want the ball. So overall, I think it's a good signing. I think the guaranteed money is what you really want to pay attention to, and only getting him at $26 million guaranteed, I think that's excellent for them, honestly. Especially if it's over the course of 3-4 years. I don't know what the void year situation is, but contractually, it's a solid deal for them. You're not paying this guy $100 million coming off of a age 31 season and an ACL tear, giving him 69, 26 guaranteed. So
better than the 1-year guaranteed deal he had with Houston. But right now, I think
exactly.
you're right. Sorry, go ahead.
No, exactly. I think it's a sweet deal for both of them. Diggs has the chance to make a lot of money over a short span of time, and New England is not tied to him contractually to pay him more than $50 million, say, if they were to go get a T. Higgins. So I think it's a good deal.
I don't think it's an overpay. Especially the biggest thing with me, and I mean, you said it right there. The biggest thing that always gets me with these contracts is when you have a situation like APY and, here's what the total contract is worth at max. Like, that can be misleading when you actually look at the guaranteed money. Like, the guaranteed money is what really, really matters. And when you look at before you see $25 million guaranteed, 4 years, $69 million looks absurd for a 32-year-old wide receiver coming off an ACL injury. But 4-year, $25 million guaranteed, I agree. That's a little bit more agreeable. That's not as drastic as 4-year, dang near $70 million. So I get it. He's a UFA in 2028 at 35. And I don't think they've broken down the per year based on that. At least SportTrack doesn't have it. But hey, we'll see. I don't think it's the worst signing. I don't think it's the best signing. But I don't think it's a bad signing. I think it's a situation where you have, like you guys are saying, you have a guy who can be that, true number one wide receiver for Drake May, and you allow the New England Patriots to take who they need to take and address other needs later in the draft, instead of focusing on getting a wide receiver 1 with the 4th overall pick. So that's my thoughts on that. We can get to the next one right now. So we got pro days are starting to happen. There's definitely been some winners and losers. I have a clear loser, and I think I have a winner, which I'm very interested to see. But I want to see if you guys have one as
well. Let me go with mine because I live in Tuscaloosa. Mm-hmm. I didn't attend this year's Alabama Pro Day, but I was able to talk to a lot of the reporters that I work with that did attend. A big winner is Jalen Milroe. Obviously, they said like a lot of scouts were impressed with him. Everybody's going to look at the 40 time. Was a 4.3 unofficial, legitimate? A lot of folks said it was, especially a lot of my sources that work for either Top 100.9, work for WVUA 23 News, or for a lot of like Bama coverages and stuff like that, just to throw out the names, not just to throw out the names and stuff. But Jalen Milroe, he looked good, flashed a lot of his ability, and heck, even a lot of quote unquote experts and analysts, they were very fond of what he brought to the table as far as his ability and his improvement in the quarterback position. But obviously, after the Zach Wilson Pro Day, I don't draw home. I don't get too excited with quarterbacks when it comes to pro days and stuff like that. Yeah. But at the same time, you can't help but to get excited and happy for the dude, especially coming from a guy that's supporting him, and he has my first name of how much ridicule he got later on the past season because of just him not playing really good from the quarterback position. So if he's showing flashes and improvements, hey, the sky's the limit for him, and there's a good chance like somebody's going to get a steal in the upcoming draft. So I think he was a winner because he just performed really good and not having to do the combine that was about a month prior.
What about a loser?
I don't think there was any losers. Tyler Booker, he's already solidified to be a first round pick. At least
from Bama or in general?
From Bama, yes.
Okay. I was like in general, I definitely think there's a few.
Booker, he solidified his spot. As a first round talent, primarily at the guard position, because there's going to be a lot of teams that's going to need a guard. But overall, there's not really much on Bama side that's a loser. I'm trying to think, who have I heard that did not have a good pro day? I can't think of none, but I'm gonna let you handle that one.
I got one. Before we get into that, I mean, I do agree with you on the quarterback thing. I mean, the biggest thing for me with looking at a quarterback, I don't put, and Toriono, you may agree with me on this or not, I don't put too much stock into the pro day when it comes to throwing. This is scripted. The thing that gets me the most is if I go back and look at the throwing and look at, what he's doing there. Are they overthrows or are they drops for the misses? Because it's 50 throws usually. It's routes on air. No pressure. You should be 50 for 50.
Yeah.
Which I agree is easier said than done, but you should be 50 for 50. Now, are there drops that happen? Yes. That I don't put on a quarterback. I have to deal with that argument enough with Trevor Lawrence, and I know you do too. It is insane that people don't understand the difference between a drop and an incompletion. But to me, I look at overthrows and I look at underthrows. That's what concerns me more with some of these pro days. But also it's routes on air. Look at the game film. Look at what he does against, higher caliber competition. I don't care how he looks against, D3, Western Mountain Union, Tech, A&M, State. I don't care about that. I want to see how he did against these NFL caliber defenses, these higher tier defenses, and look at what they do from that point. I've got my own winners and losers before I get too far into that. But Toriono, what about you?
For me, big time winner is going to be Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. I think he had a phenomenal pro day. He measured out a little bit bigger than people thought he would at 6'3", 330. I thought he was about 310, 320. So getting that 330, 31-inch vertical, 8'9" broad jump, and then he ran a 5'11" on the 40. So being 330, running a 5'11", I like it. I like it. I've seen a lot of people saying if he falls to 36, you run the card up. So I liked him a lot. I think my biggest loser probably was Xavier Restrepo. To me, if you suffer from an injury during the pro day, I think you be honest and say, hey, I don't think I should run. I don't fault him for running. No. I do think it was kind of a hindrance on him, but I mean, if the guy ends up falling somehow in the Jaguars' lap, or maybe even the Seahawks lab. I don't think that's a smart decision, but I think it'll work out in his favor. But yeah, he'd probably be my biggest loser. I think he went from a round 2 guy to a round 3 guy. Kenneth Grant might have soared up to a guaranteed round 1 guy, but obviously we don't know how the cards may fall. Some people may think this D tackle class is so deep that they can wait. So,
Right.
yeah, those are probably my 2 biggest winners and losers if I were to pick one at each spot.
I'm with you 100% on Restrepo, and I think with Restrepo, it's not so much the fact that let's put it this way. If it's true that he is hurt, which I admittedly haven't looked enough into it to see if the reports are true or not. If he is hurt, I understand wanting to soldier on and play through it, but at a position where speed is a commodity, you can't afford to run a poor 40 time. So the fact that he tried to do it twice is a bad thing. Yes, Jalen.
Okay, so y'all are concerned about his 40 time as far as what?
He's a wide receiver running a 4.8 40.
How's his route running?
Route running's fine, but if Calais Campbell can keep up with you, who ran a 4.8 5 40
how's his
time,
route running? How's the separation?
Problem.
Are you able to make the plays?
I hear you. Listen, I'm not questioning his playmaking.
But are you listening?
I'm hearing you.
Are you listening?
I will say, watching his tape, I've watched a lot of Xavier Restrepo tape.
Yeah.
The speed to me, when I watch it, game speed, it looks like a 4.6. If I were to try to track him, especially I've seen some of the breakaway touchdowns he's gotten with Cam Ward. He's gotten a couple big plays, especially this past season. But the speed is not there. If you were to say he's a 4.4, 4.5 guy when he's healthy,
right?
I don't see that. If I were to be honest with you, I don't see 4.29 for Matthew Golden either. I think that's just underwear Olympics to me. But
I'm with you on that. It's
the pro days they're funny. They're fickle like that. So I mean, to me, Restrepo's tape is top notch. I think he's a round 2 guy. He's a separator. He's an excellent route runner. I had a early Cooper Cup day comp for him. I think he can be that type of talent. If the Rams were to get him, we would be like, what the heck? How did we let this happen?
Yeah,
we got another one.
Yep.
So I honestly think Restrepo is that guy. He's that type of guy. For me to see him commit to running it, I think it was still like it showed the type of dog he is. He's willing to fight through it and try to keep it going. But that's my loser still.
No, I'm with you on that. And I think it's because we're still talking about it. And like, I want to be very clear. I'm not questioning his ability to play. I'm not questioning his gamesmanship. I watched him do seven catches, 112 yards and a touchdown against my Gators in week 1. So I get it. The issue is not with ability. That's not what I'm questioning. But Toriono, like you said, if it's 4.6 on-field speed at this level, that's not very fast. That slot guy, that slot merchant safety blanket type thing, which isn't a bad thing. He can make a lot of money in the league for a long time being that guy. But it's not wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. It's wide receiver 3 in the slot. And that's how I look at it. And I don't think he's a bad player. The intangibles are there. But I think this hurts him quite a bit. And for winner, I'd say Jason Marshall out of Florida. Just based on game tape and measurements alone, I think he helped himself a lot during his pro day. And old Desmond Watson didn't hurt himself too much either with 36 reps bench at 225. That man weighed in at 462. Just set if you're worried about the tush push, draft him and just have him stand there. No one's moving him. So, but that's it on pro days, winners and losers. We got to get into a couple more things. We have to talk March Madness, and I know this is going to take a little bit. So March Madness so far, my bracket's toast. My bracket's been toast. My bracket's been done for a long time. Jalen, you told me about Gonzaga. I don't need to hear it. I had Gonzaga in the Sweet 16 again. I was wrong, but I also have Florida winning it all, and so far I was right. Dan Hurley, shut your mouth. Acting like the rest gave us that game. I watched so many calls go UConn's way. I don't want to hear it.
Walter Clayton, that's a bad man. That's
Walter
so
Clayton's
bad,
bad, man.
That's so bad, man.
That's a bad dude.
He
Bro,
said, "I got 7 points in the first half." Hang on, hold this.
Dog,
Hold this.
I literally told you before the season started, there was one team that I was fearful as a Bama fan, and that was Florida. It wasn't Auburn. It wasn't Tennessee. It was nobody else in the SEC or in the country, not even Duke. It was Florida because of number one, and that team and the way that team can shoot. When he gets going, there's no stopping him.
No.
There's no stopping him. You just have to live with it. Also, right now, Bama just broke the record for most three-pointers in the NCAA tournament. We just got up to 25 threes in this game. Mark Sears has 34 points. He is 10 for 16 from deep. And also Bama's up by 20 over BYU. And shout out to the dude that was on like social media that was saying BYU was going to destroy Alabama. So yeah,
the Storm and Mormons.
Roll Tide. Look, here's the thing. Whoever prayed for the Jimmer Magic, yeah, they prayed to the wrong God.
This year's exciting whites.
Roll Tide. But overall, dog, my thoughts about March Madness. Look, we didn't get a ton of upsets this year. Obviously, a lot of people think it's going to be like the downfall of March Madness. But you didn't get a whole lot of Cinderellas. I mean, it's kind of tough because, bro, this is not even just March Madness. This is, to me, the landscape of college basketball. College basketball, if you're in a mid-major, Sun Belt, Mountain West, whatever, if you're not one of the Power Fives, if you're not in the Power Fives, if you're at Division I and you're a mid-major, you're basically in the G League now. That's what you are. If you have a really good tape and you're in the mid-major, you're hitting the portal in the next year and you're trying to get into one of the Power Fives because you're trying to get the NBA eyes on it. That's what that's what transfer portal and NIL has done to the landscape of, you could say, college athletics in general, but more so right now because we're in March, college basketball. Because I think there's over 1,000 dudes in the transfer portal now. One of them being Tuscaloosa native Adrian Woolley, who just won Conference USA Freshman of the Year. He already hit the portal. Heck, there's a bunch of dudes that's in the Sweet 16 now on some teams that hit the portal 13 minutes into it. A player for Vanderbilt, after they lost 13 minutes after, he hit the portal.
Yep.
Dog, I get this the landscape that we're in. Completely understand that. But my overall thought process of this has been, now because of transfer portal, because of NIL, mid-majors, they're not obsolete. It's just you're not gonna get a ton of Cinderellas unless you're having a really good day. But as of right now, mid-majors, they're G League now. If you got that dude, unless he's super loyal, he's gonna hit the portal and he's going to get the money. And you can't knock it. That's the business. That's the business of it.
No. Yeah, unless you find an Ashton Genty somewhere in college basketball,
right?
It's not happening.
No, it's to me like it's. I kind of like it about the NIL, and I feel like that bothers a lot of people. But the thing I've always said about NIL, and I try to stress this to everybody: these players are getting paid already.
Yep.
And anybody who acts like this ruined the sanctity of the game wasn't paying attention. Players have been to go back to what we were talking about earlier. Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor has very openly said he got money when he was at Florida. There's tons of players. There's decades of reports and incidents and everything going back saying that these players are getting paid. And that was the ones who got caught.
Yeah.
Now this is just out in the open. This was happening already. Now it's out in the open. I have no issue with it. I mean, people who act like this is ruining the game, they don't want to know what happened before. It's crazy to me. But I mean, if we look at the Sweet 16 right now, and I don't have a bracket pulled up right now, but I still think my prediction is correct that Florida can and will win it all. I think if Walter Clayton stays Walter Clayton, which I don't think is ever going to change, we're going to be fine. So, Toriono, what about you?
I feel a little congested right now. I'm a Duke Blue Devil.
Okay, that's fine.
I personally have us winning the championship. Obviously, that sounds very homer of me, but I think this is one of the best Duke teams we've seen probably in 10, 15 years.
That's fair.
I mean, Florida, I had us playing you guys in the championship.
I do too.
That's my bracket. That's my bracket.
Let me ask you this.
I'll be honest.
Obviously, Duke's playing Arizona tonight. You got any concerns about Arizona? Because they got a dude on there that y'all are familiar with. That program is
very familiar with.
You're very familiar with. Coach K. Coach K is familiar with. Oh, my bad. Too soon. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry. I got a lot of cousins that's Tar Heel fans, so I had to do that for them. That's the only winning. That's the only winning they're getting right now.
Oh, we're beating the brakes off of Maryland right now.
What I will say is, I told everybody at my job, I am very excited to end the college career of Caleb Love tonight. He sent Coach K home packing. I'm ready to send him home packing. And if that helps us win a championship, if that's what they need, he doesn't want to give us bulletin board material, I'm fine with that. We got dogs over there already. Sion James is ready to clamp up. I'm not really concerned about what Caleb Love is going to do. That's how I feel right now. Tyrese Proctor is playing like the second best guard in the country right now, right behind Walter Clayton. So, I mean, when you're hitting 13 threes in 2 games, I mean, I'm just saying. And then we got Cooper Flagg. That's not even mentioning Cooper Flagg and Man.
Mm-hmm.
And Con Newpel. And Isaiah Evans.
You mean I thought it was Kate Knipple.
No, it's Con.
Oh.
It's KON. That's my boy. That's John Shire Jr. That's the next John Shire. He's going to the league this year too. He's probably a lottery pick too. We probably got 4 lottery picks on our team right now.
Okay.
We got 111 right now.
At 111. I was looking at y'all score too.
Yeah.
Man, Florida's beating the brakes off of Maryland right now. I think we're up by 20. We're close to it.
All right. Let me ask you this.
I will
please forgive me for forgetting your name. Is Toriono?
Yes.
Toriono, let me ask you this. How long you been a Duke? How long you been a college basketball fan?
College basketball, probably going back to say I became a basketball fan at 8 years old.
Okay.
That was NBA. College, I started really watching around 10, so about 13 years.
Let me ask you this. Has it really sunk in or just like can you believe it how much like the ACC outside of Duke has fallen and how like great the SEC has been this season?
Yeah, it's been really surprising because honestly, I used to look at the ACC as the cream of the crop. Like the SEC was for football, the ACC was for basketball. That's how I really just paid attention to it. But now it's more so the SEC is kind of dominating the transfer portal. They're hitting the recruiting lines. They got the money. They Georgia is getting in there. You got Tennessee getting in there.
I'm talking about the boogers.
Oh, the boogers.
Who remembers the Three Stooges? I'm that old.
George needs to teach everybody. George needs driving courses for everybody, for being honest.
Oh yeah,
at least George football.
They love reckless kids over there. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro.
It to me, like someone needs to go get Danny Cannell, because that is that man said, I can't believe the SEC is so soft. They had to get 14 teams there. Goes, yeah, because the 14 teams deserve to be there. If you look at let's look at the Sweet 16 right now. I know there's 4 teams from the SEC in there right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Arizona's Big 12, Big 10.
Big Arizona 12. Is Big 12.
Michigan
no, hold on. Wait.
Big 12.
Okay, Big 12. Okay.
Yeah, Big 12. Arizona, BYU are Big 12. Duke is ACC. Michigan State and Michigan are Big 10. Auburn, Ole Miss, and Bama are SEC. Then you have Maryland is Big 10. And then you have Florida, which is SEC. What else? Who else am I missing? There's one more on the bottom right, and I can't. Jalen, scroll down for me.
I got you.
The point is, you've got so many SEC schools in there already.
Yep.
It's they deserve to be here. Now, I do think
which team we talking about?
SEC schools in general.
That's true because you schedule a lot of tough opponents. Alabama, I think, had the toughest schedule in 2024, 2025. You schedule tough opponents. You're able to bring in the talent. By the way, final score, we beat the crap out of BYU.
I bet you did. I saw the fist pump.
Yeah. So, but like besides all that, the way the SEC teams has invested, because it has to take investment from the fans, from the administration, all of that. They invested in the sports and investing in the coaches. It shouldn't be much of a big surprise at how dominant the SEC has been in basketball. Football, yes, it's been there for a long time, and that ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Now it's going towards basketball. Baseball is just as great as well. Like include and the SEC added Texas and Oklahoma. This was their first year in the SEC. So, like, just watching the investment and their investment pays off. That's pretty much what like comes out of my thoughts when I think about that.
Now, so here's my question: who do you guys think? I mean, Toriono, you and I are both with Florida and Duke in the final, so we know how that's happening. You got Duke beating Arizona. Bama's already beaten BYU. I have Michigan beating Auburn, and Michigan State beats them in the Elite Eight.
I got Ole Miss beat Michigan State.
You're insane.
I will be. It's March.
It's
March. It's March.
I know it's March. You're insane.
I know.
You know I love you, but you're insane.
I know. But it's March.
Who else we got down on that bottom part of the bracket? Need to go.
That's basically that. Dog. Everything from like BYU and Alabama, and right next to Ole Miss and Michigan State. That's pretty much it.
Arkansas is down there.
This is the Sweet 16.
Oh
shoot! I told it. Oh my bad.
Say, I'm missing.
Yeah. My bad. That's on me.
I got Tennessee beating Kentucky. Arkansas's beating Tech. Florida's going to beat Maryland, and
I'm gonna go to Wildcats on this one. I'm gonna be a little. Well, here's the thing. Tennessee didn't beat Kentucky all year, and for some reason, Kobe Barea, he has been lighting Tennessee up this season. So I'm gonna go to Cats on this one. I think they make it 3 in a row. Purdue and Houston. I'm gonna go Houston because, like, again, Braden Smith is shooting at a high percentage. He's shooting at a high clip. Everybody else around him isn't. And you need everybody else to shoot like Bama did tonight against BYU against Houston. So, but I'm gonna go Houston on that one. Texas Tech and Arkansas, I'm going Hogs.
It hurts to say. I like Arkansas too.
Yeah, I like Arkansas right there.
Yeah, I'm going Hogs.
Houston, Purdue, where we going?
I said Cougars.
Give me Houston. Yeah,
it's tough because I want to say Purdue.
Mm-hmm. The thing with Purdue is when Purdue gets cold,
they get cold.
They get cold. Yeah. They go right into the walk-in freezer. Like it's bad. So if Houston can make Purdue go cold, Houston wins.
Yeah. Is it bad? I wanted to see McNeese play Houston.
No.
It's March Madness.
Yeah.
If I can have a finals of 2 16 seeds, I'm in. Give me something weird. Give me something weird. Let's do it. But I definitely. What about Florida? I think beating Maryland. Toriano, what you think about Arkansas Tech?
I think Arkansas wins that matchup. I think Coach Cal is ready to go. He's got a couple of young guys, but he's got some proven veterans over there too. I like AJ a lot. I've been following him since high school. I think he has a big time game against Texas Tech right there. I have the upset for Arkansas. It'll probably be, I think it'll be maybe in the 70s, maybe 80s. I don't think it'll be too much of a high scoring game. I don't think they'll put up as many points as Alabama did tonight for sure.
Right. I mean, and that's, I definitely think they do that. I think Tennessee can beat Kentucky. Streaks are meant to be broken.
Yep.
So I think they can pull it out this time.
It's hard to beat teams 3 times in a row. But anyway,
it is.
We got to move on. Let's get to the main event.
No, I hear you. We got about 10 minutes left.
We got
10 minutes left.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this conversation. I'm really not. I'm not.
Oh shit! Hey, lost you.
I got him.
There we go. Lost you for a second.
I'm not ready for this conversation.
Jalen, you and I talked about this the other day. You said I don't understand what LeBron's issue is. I said it's more of just a dad.
I don't switch it over. I don't get get Stephen A's issue.
Okay, for those who don't know, Stephen A. and LeBron had an on-the-court confrontation where LeBron basically pulled a Will Smith without actually laying hands on Stephen A. He said, "Stop talking about my kid," which we all. Here's the thing: Lakers fans will tell you, we know why he went to the Lakers above everybody. Yep. We also know why he got a ton of guaranteed money as a second-round pick.
Yep.
However, that doesn't mean that he wasn't good. Bronny has always been a decent player, and he actually, shortly after that, he dropped 17 off the bench?
Yeah, about 17. Yep. He had 52 the other night in the G League.
Yeah, which, I mean, he's cooking in the G League, which is fine. But, I mean, the biggest thing for me, like, it's to act. Two things can be true.
Yep.
There can be some nepotism here. Mm-hmm. But also, if the kid was trash, he wouldn't be playing.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't be playing.
Like, no, that's how I look at it. If the kid was trash, he wouldn't be on the team. He clearly has the talent.
Yeah.
I said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times more. I still think Bryce is going to be better than Bronny, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's just me. Like, yeah.
I still think Bryce will be better than Bronny, but that doesn't mean Bronny's necessarily a bad player. I've always had Bronny as kind of like in like a Mike Conley type career, where he's never the focal point, he's never the centerpiece, but he's a guy that's always around and can give you buckets if you need it. That's kind of where I see Bronny's career going. He won't be his dad. We all know that. But I can see it as, I can see he'll be in the league for a while. That's where I'm at with it. And to me, so for those who don't know, I'm going to give you I'm going to Cliff Notes this rundown real quick. On-court confrontation. Basically nothing too crazy. They talked about it. They had it out. See if I can keep going. I'm trying to find this. LeBron got in his face, basically said, cut it out. On Wednesday, we kind of escalated this whole thing to keep it going. LeBron joined the Pat McAfee show in an uncanny television appearance for the Lakers star, saying he's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
It was, and it's accurate.
It's kind of funny.
It's accurate.
Yeah.
Right. And it's what was he was talking or referring to longtime James specialist Brian Windhorst as some kind of weirdo and tearing into Smith.
Okay, that one was really funny, especially when everybody kept bringing out the baby syndrome from the Incredibles meme.
Well, and the biggest thing for me with this whole Stephen A. versus LeBron thing, literally, it seemed like he was content to let it go. He was just going to leave it be. Everything was going to be fine. It's set this here. We're done. Move on. We talked about it. He's going to say something. He's saying some things off court on one of his 40,000 shows that he runs. Whatever, it's fine. But Stephen A. kept going.
He kept it going. He showed up to Gil's Arena talking about the situation. I don't remember all of the exact words because I did watch that episode of Gil's Arena, but it just didn't stop. I'm gonna let y'all talk about it.
So started off with, or LeBron says, started off with, I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it, but since the video came out, I feel like you need to address it. MF, are you kidding me? If it's one person that couldn't wait until the video had dropped, you could address it. It's you. So kind of going back and forth with that. Stephen A. hit back on YouTube saying he would have absolutely socked James in the face at Crypto Arena if he put hands on him. To Stephen A.'s credit, he then proceeded to say he would have gotten absolutely rocked and destroyed because it's Stephen A. versus 6'8" athletic LeBron. So I will leave that in there because people haven't been touching that part.
6'9", 230, I think. I think 6'9", 230.
He's a big dude.
Versus to me, I think Stephen A. is about like 6'1", 6'2".
Maybe.
Yeah, he's about 6'2", 180.
With heels on.
Give and take 160, 170.
So he said, Stephen A. said his issues with LeBron. I want to say for the record, LeBron James is full of it. In this particular instance, as it pertains to his son, he is a liar. And he went national TV today and he lied again. He also talked to Perkins, and Perkins is Perk. Perk said something stupid. Perk said that he would be, he said he was critical of LeBron. LeBron unfollowed him on social media, so Perk blocked his number. Let's be honest, Perk, LeBron wasn't texting you.
No,
ever.
No.
He has no reason to. Let's be. That's like me blocking. I don't know. That's like me blocking Trevor Lawrence from texting me. He doesn't have my number, and he'll never reach out to me. It's never going to happen. That's dumb. That's so dumb. And then he calls LeBron a liar. He hoodwinked y'all to thinking that he was upset about criticism of his son. And just this back and forth whole thing. And then saying he would fight him. James then posted Stephen A. boxing on his IG. And said, womp, womp,
that was back when he had a torn rotator cuff.
Oh my God. Here's my thing. What are y'all's thoughts on this? Because I think, first of all, it's ridiculous. This should have been squashed.
I'm gonna let you go because I gotta go in a few minutes.
I should have been squashed a week ago, at least. This is dumb that it's still going, but the fact that LeBron or Stephen A is out here saying he would have put hands on LeBron.
I think that's insane for any media personality to say on air that they would put hands on an athlete, in which, like, coming from a media standpoint, we don't have a job without these athletes.
Right.
You're not covering these sports without these athletes. I honestly don't think without players like LeBron and Kobe and even the CP3s of the like that have their viral moments, you don't have these platforms like First Take. You don't have these things to talk about.
You said what?
Heck, even Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Like, you don't have these talking points. So as a father, when LeBron comes to you and says, hey, I don't like the way you're talking about my kid on live television in front of 250 million people, just chill. Like, you're both adults. Like, he's not being disrespectful. He's telling you, just respect my son. He's in the league. He's with the big boys. Like, he's not in high school anymore. You can't judge him and say, oh, is he going to be a number one pick? You can't sit here and criticize him as a prospect anymore.
Right.
He's a player. He's in the G League dropping 30, 40, 50.
True, but
he's worthy.
Thing. But dog, here's the thing. Since you're in the business now, when is national media ever talked about a G League player? They've never done this.
But
what's the reason why?
For Bronny or for Mac?
Yeah, no. We're talking Bronny. We've never in the history of this business, and you just got into
outside of draft prospects. I will
outside of draft prospects that were part of like that that were like a Jalen Green or something like that, but not even this much to the point that like you got mainstream or like just like regular stream or live stream media constantly talking about a dude that's in the G League. We've never seen nothing like this.
Yeah.
He's performing great. Man. He's showing out. He's doing his thing. He's balling. But prior to that, the eyeballs have been heavy. Heck, G League arenas are selling out because of this dude. And we know why. So two things can be true.
That's what I was saying.
And the thing that baffles me, one, to me, this stuff should have been let go. All this stuff should have been let go.
This should have been done.
It should have been done. It should have been done after. To me, it should have been done after the first time Stephen A. responded about it on First Take. That's should have been done. Should have been left alone. Moved on. We get that. But then he started going on like other podcasts, explaining the situation. Then like LeBron doing his thing on the Pat McAfee show. Stephen A. responded to that on his podcast, on his show. Then did it again on First Take. Said something that was probably out of bounds about the Kobe Bryant memorial,
which isn't even true.
Which wasn't true. And then he came back in hour 2, apologized for that one for being inaccurate, because he did come back on hour 2, apologize for being inaccurate, but still out there. But either way, this stuff should have been done with, because the only person that's winning, it ain't much Stephen A. Yeah, he's gonna get the money. He's still like signing his contract. That's not gonna be. That's like to be honest, they're both winning. But if you had to choose a loser, it's probably gonna be Stephen A. Because LeBron, he's still gonna get the love from. He's still gonna get the love from the fans. He's still gonna get like a lot of that. He's still gonna get a lot of that respect. Stephen A. probably about the same as far as like with his fans. I mean, I'm not gonna hate on neither one of them because like Stephen A's at a place that I want to be at some day. I'm just gonna be me. But this stuff should have been done with a long time ago.
I can't hate on Stephen A for responding to being critical because that's what this job is. Because Toriono,
not to mention that's who he is. If you gonna call out, but dog, my thing is like saying that you're gonna put hands on somebody.
That's too much.
Nah, man.
That's
like even if trolls are gonna be trolling you, bro. Do you know how small a troll is? They don't really matter.
That's
even a lot of them, they don't really matter.
No, that's something you put.
They're just there. They're just in the way. A troll is just much there. A troll matters just as much as a cow's opinion. It just really does not matter.
To me, that Stephen A's response while putting hands on him, that goes to the group chat with the boys, and then that's that. Because then everybody can laugh at you and be like, "You're an idiot." And
man, the last dog, and here's one thing I will say. Mm-hmm. Stephen A said on his show, like, he will never let his like personal feelings get away from him being professional, which is somewhat true. But when you make comments like that about the Kobe Bryant memorial service, albeit he came back and apologized for it. And look, I'm not perfect, so you apologize for something, you own up to your mistakes. All right, cool. But like saying that you about to you'll put your hands on somebody. Look, this stuff should have been done with a long time ago.
Well, and I think the biggest thing for me with this whole thing too is he mentioned D Wade's Hall of Fame situation too. If I remember correctly, wasn't Bronny having heart issues around that time?
I think so.
I think it was in that area too. Which again, I understand you're upset, but that's one of those things where you type it up in the drafts and it stays in the drafts. It doesn't actually ever leave.
Well, let me ask you this, because again, we got to close our show in a few.
Mm-hmm.
I got a feeling this is how I know it could possibly end for good. And but I want to know y'all opinion. What's the best way that this stuff can finally put to a rest, move on? What's the best way it can end?
They need to squash the beef behind the curtain and then do it in front of the media, because that'll also be for ratings. That's what I would do.
It'll be on First Take.
Mm-hmm.
It'll definitely be on First Take.
I'm gonna put it to you like this. Well, whether it's First Take, whether it's The Shop, whether it's the Stephen A. Smith Show, either way, it's got to end on one of those platforms where they talk they talk it out, even if it gets like abrasive, even if it gets a little bit somewhat out of hand, or it might get way left. It cannot be edited. They got
table talk.
Yeah, bro. Like for real. They got them. This got to end, man. This got to move on. Because I'm sick of this. As far as like for Stephen A, a lot of people are excited about it because like they either pro LeBron and they don't like Stephen A, and I get all that. But at the same time, like I'm ready to move on, because like the finals is almost, like NBA playoffs is almost here. And I ain't watched a ton of NBA this year. So Stephen I just want, like, bro, like, you got jobs to do. Jobs got to be done. And I understand there's been a war between, like, NBA players and NBA media coverage. And I get all that. But at the end of the day, like, it's probably going to get much worse by the time the playoffs starts. But it is what it is. Yep. I'm just ready to move on from it. So the only way it's going to end, either one of them's got to show up on some type of platform, media platform, and then they just got to either talk it out or square it up. Either way, this stuff got to end.
Oh, I want to see it square it up, because that's going to be quick. Toriono, what do you think? How do you think it ends?
Yeah, I think the biggest platform between the two of them is most likely going to be First Take. It's on ESPN, has the bigger ratings. Obviously, him being on the Pat McAfee show brought them a ton of ratings, especially that viral interview and a ton of viral clips that kind of came out of it. I think for them to be candid on First Take, have that kind of banter, that bicker that we're kind of used to on First Take, they can go back and forth. That type of platform is set up for that. Then the conversation can kind of escalate, then de-escalate, and they'll have a moderator kind of try to break things up. and then have them apologize to each other for whatever the misunderstanding was to begin with. And then you can kind of have them talk a little bit about the upcoming playoffs, the seedings, potential playoff matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies, and kind of really ease the tension out, and then outro that out of that episode. You have the platform to turn it into like one of the bigger episodes of this year.
For sure.
I think it's perfect if they were to do it that way.
Right. I mean, I agree with you 100%. It has to be on First Take, and it's got to be uncut, and it's got to be live, and that's the best way to do it. So I do want to say, Jalen, you mentioned NBA stuff. I want to shout out the Indiana Pacers for dropping 162 on the Wizards.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Gosh.
Indiana started taking shot clock violations with over a minute left while up by 56. That's disgusting.
Wow.
That is insane. So that's pretty much it from us, man. I mean, Jalen, anything else you want to get into?
Nah, man, because I got to get going.
Oh, you're good, man. All right, well, let's go and close out. Toriono, thank you for coming on the show, man. A la Hot One style, last little bit. Plug whatever you need to plug. Go from there. It is all you.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can follow me on X at Toriono Knows Ball, as well as find the YouTube channel. I've been doing a couple of write-ups for Football Analysis covering the Jaguars, and you'll see more content as we get into finishing the draft season and then heading into the training camp and OTAs. Hopefully we'll be able to get my media pass this year and cover the Jaguars for ESPN 690 and give you guys more coverage. And I'm excited to continue talking ball, and hopefully we can talk upcoming draft. Hopefully I'll be back.
Oh, for sure, man. We love to have you back. Thanks for coming on, man. Obviously, go follow Toriono on all the socials and everything. Follow us on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at TDSN Pod. Follow us on TikTok at TDSN Pod and YouTube too, where you can watch it live. You can find us, talk about it a day or two before we actually go live on the socials, so you can find us there. If you like the show, tell everyone you know, tell your friends, repost the show however you want. That's what spreads the word more than anything else. Also rate 5 stars. It feeds the algorithm. Don't know why it does. Comment as well. If I knew why it worked, I wouldn't be doing a podcast. I would be writing algorithms for Google and everything else because it'd be great. Feed the algorithm. If you didn't like the show, treat it like a bad date. It was a blind date. Your friends set us up. It's not us, it's you. It's not you, it's us. Whatever helps you feel better. We'll pick up the time for the hour of content we just gave you. But no reason to leave negative reviews. Nothing like that. Not fun for anybody. Doesn't help you, doesn't help us. We can go on from there. Text your friend, tell us how terrible we are. That's fine. I don't care. If you like the show and you retweet, you get shout outs as well. Always come at the end of the show. Shout outs come from retweets and likes and 5-star reviews, but they also come from podcasts that we think you'll enjoy as well if you like our show. So obviously go check out Jim over Fan of the Band, Brent over 1420 Sports, Aaron over Brutally Honest, Darren over Chill Takes. We need to have him back on at some point too. Go check the guys at IAP Radio, Eamon over at Average Joe Sports. Him and Jim do a show called Cigar and Sports. Go check that out as well. If you're a wrestling fan, whether you're a casual fan like myself or a hardcore fan like Jalen, check out John over Wrestling Fan Insight. Sorry for my camera freaking out. It's on an autofocus type thing. I'm still trying to get that figured out. And I talk a lot with my hands. So that's why it's freaking out and probably great for YouTube. Always go check out our friends over at Sports After Dark. We need to have them back on here as well. Love those guys. I know they were doing a watch of Florida and Maryland. But go check that one out. If I missed you, you know who you are. You know we love you. Thank you. And as always, we'll see you next time.
Peace.